Hello, my nerdy fam. It's your friendly neighborhood Wesley, formerly known as Texman Cosplay. Many of my followers recognize me for my cosplays, but if you're new to my social media pages, I used to be a cosplayer, and whether you're a regular follower of mine or just new to my social media pages, I've been retired from cosplay since October of 2024. I retired from cosplay last October after 10 fantastic years of doing the one beautiful craft that I loved the most. And I loved hanging out with my friends at conventions and showing off my cosplays and just having a good time. That's one of the things I miss about doing cosplay. It's just going to a con, it's like a positive atmosphere, and everyone in attendance at conventions are just like family. And I consider the cosplay community as my second family because they have treated me very well. And I'll never forget the good times that I had at cons. And whenever I see an old photo or video of me, either at a con or at home in my cosplays, no, that feeling always gets to me. So, in case you're wondering why I retired from cosplay, the reasons why, well, the reasons why I officially retired from cosplay is the first reason was the pandemic played a huge factor in my decision to retire from cosplay. The last I didn't attend a single con until 2022. And the last time I attended a con before the pandemic was late February of 2020. And so from late February of 2020 until September of 2022, between 2020 and 2021, and till the so let me backtrack that. So when the pandemic hit in 2020, I mean, cons were either canceled or postponed. And I was supposed to be a guest at a con somewhere in Arkansas. And Arkansas is where I currently reside. So it was in central Arkansas, I believe. I was supposed to be a guest at a con. But because of the pandemic and I had recently moved to a new town, I thought it wasn't a good time for me to be a cosplay guest. So I politely declined. And because my safety was more important to me than attending a con, because I didn't want to spread the virus to people and put people at risk. So the pandemic played a huge part of why I retired from cosplay last year. And to pass up the time, I was on TikTok creating videos in my cosplays, and I gained a modest following because of my videos, and it was really fun. I did that during the pandemic, and I continued to do so until I attended my first con in almost 3 years in September of 2022. And it was so good to see my friends at cons again after almost a 3 year absence from attending cons. So that was very exciting. And I continued to make cosplay videos on TikTok as usual. And the second reason why I retired from cosplay was my beloved grandfather, who with whom I was very close with, even since I was a little kid, passed away in July of 2022. And it was his loss took me very hard because, like I said, I was very close to him. And it was the very first time I ever cried, you know, at a loss. I cried for someone that was really close to me. So, so in case you're wondering, COVID-19 and the death of my grandfather were two of the main factors of me retiring from cosplay last year. Because after, you know, the pandemic, when the pandemic hit and after the pandemic subsided, I kind of lost a little bit of energy to doing cosplay videos. I mean, I would do cosplay videos every now and then, but I just didn't have the full energy to do them anymore. You would just, I would just post cosplay videos, here and there. But the last cosplay I've done was back in October 2024. So just before Halloween of last year, I attended my final con and I went as Reggie Jackson. And for all you for all you non-baseball fans, Reggie Jackson, he won 5 World Series titles with 5 different teams. One of the teams was the New York Yankees. So I went as Reggie Jackson for my final con appearance at a con. And I was holding a 3D printed World Series trophy. I wore my Yankees uniform and especially including his jersey. So that's who I went as, Reggie Jackson. And I had a good time at a con at the last con that I attended. And that morning when I arrived at a hotel, because that's where it was held, um, I was thinking to myself, man, this is the last ride. This is my very final con appearance and the very last cosplay that I would ever do as a cosplayer. So I enjoyed myself and I participated in my final cosplay contest. And while I didn't win, I won the hearts of the people in attendance. So I had a good time. And after I came home from the con, I wrote a very heartfelt post on Instagram. Actually, I did a heartfelt post. I posted a heartfelt message rather, on Instagram the day soon after I came home from the con and thanked my fellow cosplayers for always supporting me the next day. So the next day, I addressed a few cosplayers because I wasn't able to tag everyone in my post. So I had to tag as many people as I could. And I was expressing my gratitude and appreciation for the people who have supported me over the last 10 years. And I was grateful. And I'll never forget that. So, what I, what have I been up to these days? Well, like I said, I'm focusing more on my writing, plus seeking new hobbies. So, those were the 2 reasons why I decided to retire from cosplay last year. But, and you might be wondering, the biggest question that you might be wondering, will I ever make a comeback to doing cosplay again? And the answer to that, unfortunately, is no. I'm more content of my post cosplay life, and it feels so good. But I'll still be able to, I might be able to do, some cosplay tips and show off my many suits that I've had over the years, but that's probably about it. But I'll, I plan on starting a series, or rather doing a series on my post cosplay life. Know what life has been like after cosplay. So if you've been, so I hope everyone is doing all right, and I'm doing okay. You know, I've I have my good days and bad days, but for the most part, it's been good. And I want to say to everyone who has followed my cosplay journey, thank you very much for your support and your love that you have shown me. And I really appreciate it. It means a lot. But you can always follow me on Instagram. And I I don't know what hobbies I'll discover next, but they're going to be wonderful. So that's the update on what I've been up to and why I've disappeared from TikTok and why I haven't been posting videos on TikTok lately. So I hope to see you on Instagram and hopefully on TikTok very soon. Take care, people.